Good morning. It is morning in Indiana. It's 5 after 10 Eastern Standard Time. And
Good
I'm
morning, Rob.
on the phone. How are you, Cynthia?
I'm good. Good morning to you. It's good to see you.
Cynthia Rogers is founder and CEO of Accredited Home Healthcare Directory. And Cindy and I have talked and kicked around some really great ideas and doable, actionable ideas for the last 6 months or so. Cindy's business is rather new. How old is it, Cindy? When did you start?
Oh, we've been working on this for more than 10 years. Our original site is nursemothercaregiver.com, and we're very excited. We're relaunching Nurse Mother Caregiver in a few weeks. It complements the directory.
So a couple years old, and I mean, it's a relaunch. And Accredited Home Healthcare Directory, you see it underlined. That's the URL. So if you're watching this podcast, click on that. If you're not watching it and you're listening to it, then Cindy will tell you the URL is www. Cindy?
Accredited Home Healthcare .directory. This is not a .com. Accredited Home Healthcare .directory.
Okay, got it. Accredited Home Healthcare .directory. All right, cool. So we're gonna spend some time talking about Cindy, talking about the business. We're gonna hopefully learn a lot about home healthcare and a lot about why home healthcare, if that's the option that a family takes. You know, Cindy, that my wife and I just went through with her brother that really difficult decision of, do we look for assisted living? Do we look at home health care? We looked at all the options. We settled on assisted living, but we're always revisiting and asking. I don't know if we're second guessing ourselves or not. What's the most significant difference for people when they're going through that thought process?
People want to live and stay in their own homes, especially after living through the years with COVID. Even more important now than ever. But always, people want to be able to stay in their own homes as long as possible and be safe and secure and have the best care available in their own homes. So
given that, though, like in our case, maybe the guy wasn't capable of making that decision. What do we have to? What should my consideration have been? Of course, he wanted to stay in his own home. No question about it. And we interviewed, and finally came down to a decision that we're still not sure is the right decision.
Well, accredited home care and home health care businesses give families that sense of security to know that the caregivers who are showing up to offer care, these businesses have been reviewed by a third-party accreditor. The Joint Commission, ACHC or CHAP, are exclusively the 3 accrediting bodies in the United States that the listings that we have in the directory, they have to be accredited by any one of those 3. The Joint Commission was formerly JACO. A lot of people are more familiar with JACO. They were the hospital accreditors for a very, very long time. ACHC is the newer of the 3, but they've been around for about 35 years now. And CHAP has been around for quite a long time. These are the 3 most highly respected accrediting bodies in the United States of home care, home health care, and hospice at home care.
And are any of them or all of them in any way affiliated, associated with some federal licensing, federal agency, federal group, or state licensing, state group?
Accreditation is voluntary.
Okay.
But when people need to find high quality home care, finding a home care business that is accredited gives them that guarantee. It's important when the decision is made that the family understands that there'll be a good match of the caregiver to their loved one. If that caregiver has a reason why they can't show up at work on a particular day or they can't be on time, that business is behind them. They're going to keep in touch with the family. They're going to send out another employee if there's really an emergent situation where the caregiver can't be available at the job when they're supposed to be. If someone chooses someone who's a neighbor, you don't have that. You don't have any quality. When you choose a neighbor or a friend of a friend or even somebody in a church community, and these are frequently choices that people make, it's good when everything goes right. But when anything goes wrong, you really need the assurance of an accredited, high quality home care, home health care, or hospice at home business. And I want to mention the difference because it's a big difference. Home care does not offer medical services. There are no nurses involved. Home care helps the individual with daily activities of living. They can drive them to the store. They can drive them to the doctor. They can take them to the pharmacy. They can take them to a movie. They can be their companion. They are not offering medical services.
So the first question I would ask would be, are you accredited? And then the second question is, which one of the three groups are you accredited with, or all three? And if they're not accredited by one of those three, then maybe think twice.
That's true. And if they're in our directory, they are accredited by at least one of those three.
Okay, let's talk about the directory. Lana?
The directory exclusively lists home care, home health care, and hospice at home agencies in the United States that are accredited by the Joint Commission, which was formerly known as JACO, CHAP, or ACHC. We have a wonderful relationship with ACHC. It seems that since they are the new guys of the three, they go out of their way much more to offer strategic partnerships, and we're really proud of that. When COVID just started changing our world, ACHC sent out they called it a spotlight newsletter to all of their members. Their members are these businesses that they have accredited, and they let them know who we are and all about the directory. And then a little later in that year, they sent another newsletter offering new businesses that are choosing to become accredited, discounts for their services if they came through as a result of the newsletter that they sent out. So we help bring businesses to these accrediting bodies. So we add to the
your primary audience
large amounts of businesses that are accredited.
Your primary audiences would be people like me, right? That's looking for that solution.
A lot of children or sandwich generation folks who have parents that they are taking care of.
Okay. Now, so can we talk a little bit about the accreditation process? We, for instance, here in our world, our platform, which, as you know, is survey. We just went through this really arduous process of getting HIPAA qualified, which of course has to do with patient healthcare. That process was really difficult. I mean, it took a lot, and it took a lot. Thankfully, it took a lot because it really helped us tweak our software. Really helped us be a better provider. both in healthcare and outside of healthcare. The accreditation process that a home healthcare company goes through, how arduous is it? I mean, do they really?
Oh, it's a serious review. It's an on-site review by nurses that go through everything that's important, so that they're a third party. The accreditors are a third party looking at these businesses to make sure that the patients and the families are secure in knowing that their employees are going to do their best to keep their loved ones safe and secure.
So is it an audit?
It's an on-site audit, yes. And every 3 years it's repeated.
Okay. Huh. If people are making their decision, I want them to pay really close attention to this discussion, because this is one of the hardest decisions that I've ever had to make. And I know other people, we all have friends, and I'm at that age where, while I'm still very spry and, robust, a lot of my friends have gone through the same decision. Can I flip the switch just a little bit and talk about, this is a business that's owned by you and your husband, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you have a partner, Catherine
Garland.
Yeah. So that you're aware, I've got a lot of respect for anyone that starts their own business, because it tells me that you're willing to bet on yourself. And
right.
To me, it's like the biggest of big deals. I think, I've started my business 24 years ago, and I feel like I'm reinventing it every 2 or 3 years,
right.
to make sure that I'm, always being appropriate and germane. Why did you do this? What brought you to this?
20 years of working in the healthcare industry, all about quality assurance, accreditation, and credentialing. And it started with a nurse executive who was an acquaintance of mine, opened up a door, and it led to a very low paying, but very interesting position at IPRO, the peer review organization for the state of New York. And I took the opportunity, and it led almost immediately to another amazing job opportunity with a startup of managed care in New York City. So I went from one side to the other. IPRO employs doctors and nurses to review medical records when the services are government paid, like Medicaid and Medicare workers' comp. So I was requesting medical records for review at IPRO. And when I got the opportunity to become employed by the startup it started out as MHSNY, expanded into New Jersey, then they became AmeriChoice, and ultimately they were acquired by United Healthcare. Those 6 years that I spent there, from the startup until I chose to leave in 2000, I was on the other side. I was requesting medical records from the providers of this managed care startup to be reviewed by IPRO. So I got such an amazing education on medical record review and the quality assurance. The health services department of a managed care insurance company, which that's what it is really, it's an insurance company, is led by the medical director. And that was a wonderful opportunity. I was reporting in a low-level position to the top of this organization. And the medical director has meetings with the providers to make sure that the providers are consistently offering high-quality care. And that led to the next opportunity after 2000 until 2013 with the National League for Nursing. So at IPRO, AmeriChoice, and the NLN, everything that I learned had to do with quality assurance, accreditation, and credentialing. And the difference between those two, accreditation is for businesses, home care, home health care, hospice at home businesses in our directory, and credentialing is for the people. Nurses get credentialed. Businesses get accredited.
You were telling me about an article on your website.
Right. Top center, homepage, top center article. Why does accreditation matter? I hope everyone reads it. We all need to understand, because when we're in that position, we need to find high quality care for our loved ones. We need to be very comfortable with this decision. And we don't know which businesses are accredited. If we see a pamphlet at a doctor's office, or we see a TV commercial for a home care agency, nobody's really mentioning accreditation in a commercial or a pamphlet. There might be a gold seal. There should be. An accredited home care business should show their gold seal of accreditation on their advertisements and on their pamphlets and on their website. But people don't, in general, a lot of people don't know to think about this. A lot of people, in general, people assume that all these businesses are equal. Or if there's a lot of commercials, then they must be really good. And that's, having a lot of commercials or a lot of pamphlets doesn't make a business accredited. And you have to check, right? And you have to check online. And when people are faced with this and it's an urgent situation, they're not thinking about doing internet research. We did the internet research. I do that constantly. And that's why the directory is so important. It's for everyone to come to the directory when they need to make that choice, because every listing in the directory is accredited.
So it comes down to, just like any other choice you're about to make, particularly healthcare, you have to be an advocate for yourself.
Right.
And so you have to know what questions to ask. You have to know, I know that probably the first question people ask are how much does it cost, but really that's not the first question they should be asking.
Well, the non-accredited organizations charge just as much. You don't get away cheaper. It's really terrible.
Right.
Just because there's a pamphlet at the doctor's office doesn't mean anything, really.
Yeah.
And they all offer similar services.
So the first point to make, get thee to accredited home healthcare directory, right?
When you need to understand why accreditation is important, you need to understand the definition of the word.
Yeah, look at those articles, pay attention, take some time, because I have found too that when I do that kind of research for anything up front, it actually saves me a lot of time and aggravation later.
That's why we did it. That's exactly why we created the directory.
Yeah. I just think it's so cool what you do. And I'm looking forward to being an advertiser on your site, and looking forward to working with your customers and helping them measure what their employees are thinking. Because, since COVID, as you know, it's really switched around that, it used to be that we were finding out whether or not an employee was good enough to work for us. Well, that's all changed now. It's whether or not you're good enough for that employee to work for. And so we're looking forward to more engagement with you and Catherine in the future, and, helping you make your business work, because my goodness, it's important. And my goodness, if I'd have known 3 years ago, and what I know now, with just what I learned today, I don't know, we might have still made the same decision, but it would have given us better information. So you want to talk about your charity of choice?
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
Do you want to talk about your charity of choice?
Oh, I'm sorry. American Heart Association is my charity of choice for many,
Right.
many reasons.
We just to kind of set the stage here. One of the things that I promise all the people that I have the luxury and the joy of talking to, like Cynthia, I offer to make a $50 contribution to their charity of choice, and hoping that anyone seeing this will do the same. So, you wanna lay it out for us?
Yeah, yesterday when I made this decision, I went to the American Heart Association website and I learned that about this match, dollar for dollar, because it's February. But then it said there's a triple match because of Valentine's Day. So I had quite a few reasons why I chose the American Heart Association, and it just got better and better to have triple a donation.
Well, we've all had somebody impacted by that cardiac. I mean, you know, we really start paying attention when it's a 22-year-old football player who got hit in the chest.
I do. I have a very close friend who has heart disease.
Do it all the time in the American Heart Association, and they've been around forever. What a good, credible choice. So you can.
On Valentine's Day.
And on Valentine's Day, they'll get my $50 today. This will be probably come out. We might be able to publish it today, this BobCast, and if we can, then you'll get a link. You can post it wherever you'd like. So, do we want to talk more about American Heart Association, or are we good? You good?
I believe that heart disease is the biggest killer of women. It's the silent killer of women.
You know, that's true. I heard an article on the news the other day that even when a woman has a heart attack, it's not as paid attention to as closely as when a man has a heart attack. I guess the symptoms are just significantly different enough. In fact, I remember who it was. It was one of the broadcasters, one of the anchors on MSNBC, had a heart issue, and they diagnosed it as indigestion, and turned out it was far worse than that.
For Valentine's Day, for the people with disease, but those who are surviving.
Yeah. So here is Cindy's email address. If you'd like to reach out directly to her, get what information you feel you might need. As I mentioned, I'm really looking forward to doing more business with Cindy and her partner, Catherine, and someday I will meet her husband. Who I know that in my family, my greatest supporter is my spouse too, my business. So it's tough to do without him, isn't it? You need that support system. So okay, you're back on remote, Cynthia. There we go. Okay, I am going to stop the recording, and thank you again very, 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 very much. This was really fun.